And so we'll jump right in. So we've got a couple of guest speakers to talk about their experience with farmers markets. We've got Allison Green from the Campus Kitchen at Augsburg College. Marcia Thrall will be joining us in a little bit. And she's from the Campus Kitchen at Marquette University, and Laura Arnold from the Campus Kitchen at Kent State University. So we'll let each of them go through and give a little bit of background and discuss what some of their specialties are and how their Campus Kitchen has created relationships with their local farmers markets. And then at the end, we'll have a time section for questions. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Allison. So Allison, if you want to unmute yourself and take it away.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So I'm Allison, the coordinator for the Campus Kitchen at Augsburg College in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so our Campus Kitchen has been around since 2005, and we have been running our own on-campus farmers market since, I think, 2011. I've only been here for the last 2 summers, so I can speak directly about those, but I'll try to talk a little bit about how our markets got started as well. So our farmers market is just one small piece of what our Campus Kitchen does. Most of what we do, like many other Campus Kitchens, are the food recovery and the meal serving. We also have a community garden and some educational opportunities around food, and then the farmers market was our newest initiative as a way to support the economic development side of food and food systems. And from what I've heard from the organizers, it really came out of a desire for more fresh produce in the neighborhood, and also was just perfect timing with a city initiative that was looking at how to get fresh produce into neighborhoods in a way that's not burdensome like a huge farmer's market is. So we had an organization in town working with city officials on creating a network of mini markets. So they were markets that were set up to only host 5 vendors, and 3 of them had to be fresh produce vendors. So it was a way to support local farmers and also to make it actually manageable for a market. So our Campus Kitchen decided, yeah, we can join that pilot project and start a mini market and see how that goes. And we started out with one on campus and then eventually added one in the community at our community center as well. But we are now back to just doing one on campus because it was too much for us to run 2 markets. So a little bit about logistics of running a market. It requires a license, first of all, and every city is different in terms of what those license requirements are. When we were a mini market, it was a $70 permit application, so that's what you paid to get your license to run through the growing season. We're actually licensed as a full farmers market now, which means we can have as many vendors as we want, and there's less of a restriction on how many have to be fresh produce. I think the number is still like 60%, but they can be people reselling produce. They don't have to necessarily grow it themselves. And even though that we're licensed as a full market, so that cost for us is $256 a year currently. And that gives us flexibility in inviting people who do things like canned goods or fresh, hot, ready-made foods. But we have actually not seen growth in our vendors, even though we have capacity to host more, just because one of our struggles is staffing the farmers market. It only happens once a week during the growing season, so like July through September, and it's been hard for us to get consistent students or volunteers to run that. Not because people don't want to, but because it's sometimes during a time of the day, like we run ours during lunchtime, where students are in class or they're doing other full-time work. And yeah, it's just been a challenge to try to do the kind of outreach that you need to do to vendors and to the community to get that right balance of people who come to the market and people who are selling at the market to make it really sustainable. So we're working on that, and we've got some great community partners that we built through the years to try to increase that. One is with our local big university, so we're right across the street from University of Minnesota, and they have a program that has grad student internships working in community health organizations. So we were able to apply for one of those interns a couple summers ago, and that intern basically ran our market, did a lot of conversations in the neighborhood to see what people wanted to see happen at the market, what would make them come, what kind of things they wanted people to sell there, and then just built partnerships to help get people to the market. We live in a really dense, diverse neighborhood. We have some high-rise apartments, but then we're also right across the street from a university and a hospital system. So our target demographic is both the people that are working here in the neighborhood and the people that live here. So the people that work here, all you need to do sometimes is put out a sign on the road, so when they're out at their lunch break, they'll walk across and come visit us. People that live in the neighborhood, it's harder to find ways to spread the word. Mostly word of mouth is the way that people find out about things. So we talked to some health organizations that were able to hand out flyers and actually do market tours. So for people that were kind of hesitant about coming to a market on their own, they would gather at the organization's space and then walk over together and come to the market, say what you can do here, why is it here, help go through that process of paying for things, learning how to use the EBT and SNAP benefits, and like translating for people whose English is not their first language. And that worked out really well. Some people that came initially on one of those tours would come back every week because they were hoping we would have more granola or more honey or more tomatoes. And they would just sometimes come and hang out at the market. So that kind of partnership where we have people that are working directly with our neighbors and are able to bring them to the market to help make it less of a scary thing for people that have never been to markets is something we would like to continue to do. Let's see, other things we've really enjoyed is that our staff people here on campus love the market in the summer. It's a great way for them to take a lunch break and just go outside, take a walk, get some fresh produce, talk to the farmers, and get out of their office. And yeah, so we've had some struggles in terms of keeping the markets running because it is kind of a lot of work to get people to commit to being vendors at your market and to coming and being a customer at your market, but it's one of the aspects of our program that even if we're not like making revenue off of it, or maybe we're not reaching as many people as we would hope, it's still an important part of getting that economic development into the work that we do. So we're going to keep at it and keep finding community partnerships that can help us form this market into what the neighborhood wants it to be. Yeah, and though I wasn't here at the beginning of the market, I'm happy to anytime answer questions about what it takes to actually run an on-campus market and what to think about before you decide that this is something you actually do.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Allison, for going all over all of that. A lot of great information. So we're going to jump over to Marsha. Do we have Marsha on the line? She may not be here yet. And I know that she has a very tight schedule today, so what we can do, if everybody is okay with that, if we can jump over and have Laura, if you want to start to give a brief overview, and then if Marsha's able to join her, then we might be able to switch back if that's okay with everybody. I just know Marsha had another class, so she just will need to leave a little bit on the early side. So Laura, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Just going to pull up your PowerPoint here, and just let me know when you want me to change it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Arnold, and I'm here from Kent State in Ohio, and we are celebrating our 6th year of being a campus kitchen, and we've been at the farmers market ever since the beginning. You can go to the next one. So at our farmers market, they've been around probably 20 or 30 years right in the city of Kent, and we have an indoor one and an outdoor one. So we have a winter market that's going on right now that's in a church hall, and there's about 20, maybe 20 vendors that come, but the one in the summer has about 50. So you can go to the next one. So it's every Saturday, and as you can see, the third one down, the one that's outside goes from May to October, and that's a really cool one. It's nothing like the big cities where they have year-round stands or anything. It's just everybody brings their table and sets up, and there's live music and everything. And the other one is in the church, like I said, and it's only a 5-minute drive from the kitchen. So go to the next one, please, Annie. So we've become known for our recipe card creation. And what we do is we may select a certain farmer and say, would you like to be featured next week? And they will either give it to us right then, or the day of the market, we will go and pick up whatever they're going to have us feature. And we will have a recipe card made up for them with their logo on it. And then we will do a food demonstration and give samples out at the market. So go to the next one, please. And there's an example of it, front and back. They have now started asking us if we would feature them, because it creates a great synergy. Because when the people come to our table, we say that it was donated by, let's see, in this case, I can't see where it is on this. Oh, Pleasant Valley Farm donated it. So we say, if you like it, go over there and go buy it from them. And then they, on the other side, will have a pile of our recipe cards. And they'll say, if you want to taste our stuff, come on over, go over to the Campus Kitchen site booth, and you can taste our thing. So it works out really great because we're giving business to them. So hit the next one, please. That is, here we are at the indoor market, and that is all of our different recipe cards. And then on the left-hand side there, we also have, we pair up with our nutrition department at Kent State, and they give us flyers to hand out. Like maybe we'll have one week it'll be diabetes prevention week, or maybe it'll be heart disease or something like that. So we'll have certain flyers out, and then all the recipe cards. And people come up and they say they could start a book because they have all of our recipes. And it's cool because they get to taste them first to know if they want it. So go to the next one, please. It's a real draw to have that. Next slide, please. We also get the kids involved, and we have them, I don't know where it went, but we have them, like, say, do 3 push-ups and you can have a sticker or something like that, and it's really a lot of fun. And the parents come over, and the kids know us, and they're coming over all the time for free food, or we say, do, you know, if they're little, do 2 jumping jacks or touch your toes, and you can have a tattoo. And so the community really loves us. Go to the next one.
Sorry, I'm just going to pull this out of here for a second. Sorry guys, we're having a little bit of trouble getting this to come up. Sorry.
Okay, well, I can just keep going.
Yeah, if you want to keep about some, going through the program, I'll pull this back up.
Okay, so we have the food demos and the free samples. We're chopping salsas and salads, and sometimes we bring like the George Foreman grill, and sometimes we bring a crock pot, and we have a lot of things going, and that really draws the people too, and the smells do. We get the children involved, like I said, sometimes in the Christmas time we're having them decorate cookies, and one time we had the volunteers write up thank you cards during the kitchen shift hours, and then we brought them to all the vendors. But one of the things that's really, I think, important, if you can do it, is continuity is key. I've been there for 3.5 years, so I have become the face of the organization, and you know, we know each other, we know about our kids, we know about our families, and I look for the people. If they don't come, I'm worried about them. Why aren't they here? So that's a really nice thing, that if you can have somebody actually be there. But I know it's hard because volunteers, you know, you have a changing cast of volunteers all the time. But at the end of the market, when I go around and recover, I say, what do you have that might go bad before your next market? And oh my gosh, do we get just boxes and boxes and bags filled with, oh, it looks like you're going good. Go down to number 12 if you can.
All right. I should be able to bring that up.
Okay.
There we go.
Right there. That's one of our big bounties that we got in the summertime, probably in July and August. And we are so thankful for it, and they're so thankful. So you can go to the next one. So yep, we take it back, sort it, weigh it. We mark down who gave it, and it'll be used for when we feed the agencies during the week. And yes, the very bottom, far less is donated in the colder months, that's for sure. Okay, next one. So yeah, here's some of our meals. And we do use the Volunteer Hub page. That works out really good. The listserv we have sent out by Experiential Learning Office for us to get volunteers. And they hear about us through other things, and they engage with the community and help us prepare all the samples. And we always make sure that it's a lot of fun for them. And we just love all our volunteers. So next one. And here's some of the results with, you know, we're getting fresh, local, organic produce for our meals. So it's turned out really great. And next one. So there, and we'll have questions after, Annie?
Yep. Yep. So actually we might move into questions. Marcia, were you able to join us?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. All right. So I know you're on a really tight schedule, so I certainly understand, you know, if you just want to go through a quick overview of the program at Marquette and sort of share your experience. And again, I certainly understand that if you need to jump off to head to class.
Okay. All right. So the Campus Kitchens program at Marquette actually mostly relies upon what we recover from dining services to serve our clients. We're trying to expand the amount of product that we get from farmers markets. We have one market that we work with in the summertime that we're able to get some fresh produce from that helps to supplement what we grow in our community garden. But when I was reaching out to our winter market, and we have two in the area, the dilemma that I found was that they had already helped another organization kind of create a green relationship or a partnership, a recovering partnership with another organization and the farmers that are involved. And so I didn't want to step in and take that away from that organization. They're pretty well known throughout the community, and they do good work as well. So by all means, they were first. They obviously deserve to get whatever spoils of leftover recovered food they can get from the winter market. But what the market managers offered to me instead was an opportunity to be able to participate in the markets in a way where I was able to recruit volunteers for the program at Campus Kitchens, just by basically setting up a table at the market. So twice a month at the Saturday market, I set up a table and I worked with volunteers. And then 3 to 4 times a month at the Sunday market, I set up a table and did the same thing. And what happens is we, because we tend to have kind of like a drought of volunteer participation in the summertime and in the spring and during breaks, what we're hoping will happen, because this is what the interest that we're getting from the volunteers or the people that I'm speaking with who will be volunteers is that they're going to be able to come in and fill in that gap for us, which will be fantastic because, you know, Amanda ends up having to do a lot of the work herself when we're short-staffed. And so to be able to have people within the community come in and say, hey, I did this thing with you guys, and then spread the word and share it with other people throughout the community, I think is going to help us with the capacity building side of things, because there's a lot of people in the community who don't understand that we even exist. And so I think sometimes we get kind of hung up on the idea that recovery might be the only relationship that we can have with farmers markets. But I think that if we have conversations with the managers themselves, they're really helpful. They're passionate about issues regarding food waste, and they for sure want to make sure that they're supportive of us in the way that we serve the community and in the way that we help to reduce the impact of food waste on the environment itself. And so I guess I will take any questions if you have any quick ones, but I have to get to that. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marcia. So does anybody have any questions specifically for Marcia before she needs to head out? And just remember to unmute yourself, or you can write it in the chat.
Yeah, and if you think of questions, like what can I do to reach out to your market managers or other questions, and you want to email me, by all means, feel free. My email is msrell@campuskitchens.org. I am very, very passionate about making sure that we are doing our best to build relationships within our communities to help our mission along. So.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to pass along any questions as well if you want to respond to any of the emails I've sent out about the logistics. Oh, looks like we've got a question. So Tara asked, what do you consider to be your primary focus of your Campus Kitchen's presence at the markets?
The primary focus is actually twofold. I think that first, the primary focus is, of course, to help the community be aware of what the Campus Kitchen project is all about. The second is to try to engage the community. We have people within the community who are looking for volunteer opportunities, and because we are always looking for volunteers, it's a very helpful relationship to have within the community.
I can also say that, yes, awareness of what we're doing and our mission is a main focus, but also we get our volunteers from there. We tell the community that they are more than welcome to come join us. It's not just for students, and we collect donations there, and we give its goodwill between the campus and the community, between Campus Kitchen and the community, and yep, that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have any other questions? I know we had a couple from the original registration about approaching a farmer's market to initiate a relationship or propose a partnership. Do any of you have any suggestions or ways that have worked for you, or maybe things to avoid doing to make sure that you lay the groundwork for a great partnership?
I wasn't there when they started and approached, but I know that when we've asked if they did not, if we could, maybe not come during a spring break or something like that, the manager said, oh, he would really like us there because of what we bring to the market. The customers really love it. They're getting demos, they're getting recipe cards, they're getting free information, and they're getting food. So in return, we get a free table there. So that's it.
Yeah, I would agree. Just thinking about the mutual self-interest of both of your programs. So what is it that the farmers market really cares about, and why do they exist, and why do you exist, and how can those interests overlap? and finding out what kind of partnerships the market has had in the past too. Like, have they ever had somebody who's done gleaning? What kind of criteria do they use to invite community partners to just have tables once a week? And just getting to know who the market is and what they value and what they care about is a great way to approach it.
Great. Anyone else have any other? I've got another question here from the forum, but I want to give anybody else a chance to ask anything that's on the call now. All right, well, if you think of anything, feel free to put it in the chat while we're talking. So another question was wondering about some liabilities of working with a farmer's market and also managing traffic at the tables. So thinking through some of those logistics.
Yeah, I can talk about liability in terms of hosting a market. So that's something that we work out with our overall college insurance and just make sure that it's added to. I don't understand the details because I don't actually have to do this. I just have to contact the person who does. But making sure that we're covered under our insurance policy, and then working out logistics with the people on campus that manage the space that we use, and our parking people to make sure that they know we're going to have a couple trucks coming in this time, this week, every summer. Can you make sure, can you give us some parking passes, or let us know if there's other events happening that time so we can redirect traffic other ways. Yeah, so utilizing your resources on campus to make sure that these people are helping you cover all your bases, but then also it gives you a chance to say, hey, we're doing this market. Since you helped us get it started, why don't you come on over and check it out and hang out with us for a while and hear what we're doing?
Excellent, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
As far as traffic at the table, I like to have a couple volunteers doing the cooking, and then I like to be the one talking. But if we get a ton of people, like in the summertime, and they're all waiting in line to eat and everything, I can be talking to groups, but I also get the volunteers involved in helping talk to other ones. And you have to, they'll just walk on by. You have to offer them. You have to invite them in. Would you care for a sample? And then they'll come and see what you're doing, where they really need to be invited.
Yeah, definitely getting that interaction, being enthusiastic at your tables to bring people in.
And you have to be standing, I would tell you that too, not sitting back on your phones.
Very good point.
And thinking about liability with serving food at a market, most farmers markets have policies about samples, and they can help you figure out what you need to do. Of course, all campus kitchens know about food safety too, but do they have specific rules about how you can serve? Do they have a hand washing station, things like that? So you can ask the market managers how to help you safely serve samples and things like that.
Fantastic. So are there any last minute questions? Otherwise we can go ahead and wrap up. All right, well, if, and like Marcia was saying earlier, absolutely, if you guys come up with any questions later on, feel free to email me and I can direct them out to the best person to be able to answer. Or if you want to get directly in contact with one of our speakers today, certainly feel free to let me know. My email is on the screen right now. I also want to remind everybody that attending a webinar is an action on the center. It's worth 50 points, so definitely check that out. Again, if you have any questions or you're not sure how to get on board with that, feel free to send me an email. But thank you to Marcia and Laura and Allison so much for helping us out with this and being our resources for all things farmers market. And thank you all for coming onto the webinar today. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.